We are live with Lunch Break Live. Destiny, Eat Your Destiny. What are you making today?
Today, I'm making some stuffed plantain cups, and it's going to be delicious. So I'm so ready to make them because I'm hungry and it's lunchtime.
All right, take
So,
it away. Go for it.
yeah. So we are going to be using plantains, some oyster mushrooms. I have some tomato, jalapeno, lime, red onion, and some cilantro. That looks a little bit sad, but we're going to make it work. So those are the main ingredients. Other than that, we have some salt, pepper, garlic powder, sesame oil, and that's about it. It's a very easy meal. And let's just get started. So I have over here a pan with a little bit of oil in there because we are going to fry the plantains twice. If you do not cook with oil, that's totally fine. You can bake the plantains in the oven. I can send a recipe for that because it is completely different. It takes a little bit longer because they have to bake in the oven. So I'm going to fry them today. That's more of the traditional way. So for anybody who does not know, stuffed plantain cups usually are made with beef, but obviously since we are vegan, we're going to be making some carnita style mushrooms. So I'm going to get started by cutting my plantain and peeling it. So there are different types of plantains, different colors and shapes. So there are green ones, and then once they start ripening, they turn a little bit yellow, and once they're super, super ripe, they turn black. You can eat them at every single stage, but for this dish, we're going to be using the green plantain. So to cut them, we're just going to give you a good view. We're going to cut off the ends, put that to the side, and you're just going to make a nice slit down the skin. So you can tell the difference between a plantain and a banana because the outside is very, very tough. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is a very thick, tough skin.
Yeah.
I made the mistake when I was younger of buying these. These are actually plantains. They're just more ripe, and thinking that they were bananas and putting them in my smoothies. And that's not, that's not the best thing to do. So we're just going to peel the plantains. This is the easiest way to do it. You kind of want to get your knife under it. And then after that, it's very easy to peel.
And Destiny, how do you choose a good plantain? How do you know if it's ripe and ready?
Yeah, so these green ones are really good for what we call tostones, which is just deep fried plantains, and they have more of a savory flavor. Whereas these, we call these maduros, these are more sweet. So when we fry these, it definitely will, the flavor is completely different. These are more savory and these are definitely sweet. But over time, if I let this sit on the counter, it will eventually turn into this. So they're both really great. Alrighty.
Great. Amazing. This is Destiny with Eat Your Destiny. Eat Your Destiny. You do so much for the community as well, doing a lot of cooking demos, showing people how easy it is to eat vegan on a budget. Am I right? Plant-based on a budget. Yeah, say more about it.
Yeah, definitely. So I went vegan in 2018 now. So it's going to almost be 4 years at this point. And when I first went vegan, I was very skeptical of the movement just because I thought that it was going to be super expensive and I wasn't going to be able to afford it. So I just really had to teach myself different ways to be vegan without, breaking the bank. So I just, I was shopping at different stores. I was buying ingredients at the Dollar Tree or different stores like Home Goods or Ross or Marshalls. Like they have vegan options there, and a lot of people don't really know that. So I just taught myself how to, make affordable food and with accessible ingredients. And I've just been educating people on how to do that. I host cooking demos monthly, and I also teach people how to shop on a budget by taking them into the supermarket with me. So now that my plantains are cut up, I made them into, maybe like an inch or half-inch pieces. When the oil is hot, I'm going to throw them in there until they are golden brown, but you don't want them to be like done and crispy because we have to deep fry them again. So we're going to just let this heat up. And while that's doing that, I am going to make our mushrooms. So this is a king oyster mushroom. I got mine from my local Asian store, and this is my favorite meat alternative. It's so easy to make. It's so delicious. And it just you know, it carries a lot of flavor. So I just took the top and the bottoms off. Do not throw these away. They're perfectly fine. You can cook with them. I'll probably just put it in another recipe. And then we're going to cut it in half. And then at this point, you have the option of shredding it with a fork or just peeling it apart. So I like to sometimes just start it with the fork and then just finish it by peeling it. And this is going to give us our little, almost like the traditional way is using or beef or chicken. So this will kind of be like our, you know, vegan chicken strips. So we're doing that. And I hear my oil cracking, so I'm going to check on it in a second. But this is what you want them to look like. Very thin and ready to be crisped up. Alrighty, let's check the oil. I'm going to check the oil by somewhat dunking one of them into the oil. Cool.
Ooh, thank you, everybody, for joining us here at Lunch Break Live, our daily cooking show. You're going to get this recipe plus thousands of others printable on janeunchained.com. Look at this. So this is the king oyster mushroom, and you are using the fork to get it going. And now I see your hands. I've always wondered. And then you're just shredding it. Look at that.
Yes, this is my favorite. You can also use, I've made this, last week I actually made it using jackfruit. And it came out perfectly fine. I just prefer mushrooms because I feel like they cook faster. So for the sake of the cooking demo, I thought it would be nice to share like one of the quickest recipes, you know?
Yes. Now, when you buy your jackfruit, do you buy it in cans and do you buy it in like water, oil, or brine? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I buy it in the cans just because I don't even know how to begin to cut the actual jackfruit. To me, it just looks very intimidating. So I do buy it from my local Asian store in a can. It's usually in brine, but I always marinate it. I clean it, I wash it, and then I marinate it in some type of like veggie broth or like a vegan chicken broth, and that gives it a lot of flavor. I know a lot of people kind of stay away from jackfruit because they think it has a briny taste, but you really just have to work to get that out, you know? I would be more than happy to come on again and share a jackfruit recipe because I do love jackfruit as well.
Okay, you got it. We're definitely going to be setting that up. If you are just joining us, we are live with Eatyodestiny out of Las Vegas, grown up in the Bronx, and is bringing plant-based food on a budget forward, showing how to do this so easy, fast, and delicious food, veganizing traditional Latin recipes. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah. My favorite thing to do. A lot of people think that sometimes when you go vegan, you're going to like lose your culture or forget or have to like eliminate some of the dishes that you grew up eating. And that's definitely not true. I'm sure everybody, like if you're vegan here, you know that anything could be veganized at this point in time. There's so many options out there. So I like to take some, you know, traditional Puerto Rican and Cuban dishes and veganize them. And this is one of them. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so yes, you've already had requests to come back. So if you don't have an oyster mushroom, what do you have any other suggestions? Do you like to use any of the other mushrooms? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so if you don't have access to an oyster mushroom, I know sometimes these can be tricky to find if you don't have like an Asian supermarket next to you. You can purchase them online, so there's that. But I also, like I said, I like to use jackfruit, or you can use like button mushrooms. You can use shiitake mushrooms, whatever type of. The purpose is to just kind of put like a meat, I guess, alternative inside of the plantain cups. So that's really what we're looking for. So if you prefer, you know, chickpeas, you can definitely do that. I've seen people stuff the plantain cups with rice and beans. So that's another easy recipe that you can do. I just love mushrooms so much.
I think people are really enjoying mushrooms now, especially because there's so many fantastic recipes out there. Yes. I have a question. So there's a question about some of the things you do outside of, let's say, Facebook. I know you do a lot of social media content for brands and things. Take it away.
Yeah, so my actual job is a full-time social media manager. So I do social media management for vegan restaurants. I also manage the social media pages for the Black Veg Society, which is a nonprofit that focuses on just teaching people about veganism and accessibility and things like that. I also run social media pages for teachers who are promoting their resources and things like that. So anything social media and marketing, you can count on me. That's what I do full time. So I really enjoy, just educating people either on food or education in the classroom. So that's what brings me joy. I'm also a organizer for a collective called Veggie Mijas, and we focus on food justice throughout the U.S. And we also have a chapter in India now, which is really cool. So yeah.
Woohoo! All right. So look at that, those shreds. Now, are we putting those in oil as well?
Yes. So right now I'm actually flipping the plantains because they're becoming a nice yellow golden color. So I'm just going to flip them all individually. Like I said, you can use coconut oil, you can use olive oil, whatever type of oil that you prefer. Or you can bake these. So I have baked them before. I put them in the air fryer. But today we're gonna deep fry them. All right. So now that is flipped over, I am going to get started on the carnitas. So I just have a deep pan. I'm going to put it on a medium high. And I'm going to add some sesame oil. So sesame oil is very, very powerful. So please beware when you use sesame oil. A little goes a long way. But because I have so many of these, I kind of want them to soak up the sesame oil. So I'm going to pour a generous amount into my pan. My plantains are bubbling and getting nice.
And I just learned something new today, you all. I'm so excited. Keep going. I mean, I'm learning so much from this because I really want to work with mushrooms more. Yeah. And I'm really excited to hear about Ko-Fi, and I'm going to put it in here. It's like a Patreon. If you all don't know, you can support Destiny through a monthly donation so that she can do all this great content. So I'm going to put the link in the chat, folks, so you can go ahead and do that. It's a great way to support folks who are, doing the work, who are really bringing forth. Because, the thing about it is, until we knew, we didn't know, we didn't have the information. And, it's all about how to cook it at home, cook more of it. So that you can have accessibility to these recipes, and that's what you're bringing forward. So really cool. So about how long did those stay in? Are you browning them?
So I'm going to show you right now what they look like. They are definitely more golden than when we put them in, and you can kind of see the outside is starting to brown. I don't know if you can see over here, but we don't want to fully cook them because right now what we're going to do is form them into little cups, and then that's how we're going to stuff them with the mushrooms. So I'm going to lower my heat for now just so that it doesn't get too hot. And so right now we're going to take these. Let me clean up my section. All right, so I am using a lime or lemon squeezer just to form my cups. But if you don't have this, you can definitely use like a regular cup that you have in your kitchen. And I'm going to spray it with some oil. I actually found this oil at the dollar store, so it's very handy. They also have a coconut oil spray as well. So check out your dollar stores. All right, so now I'm going to just take the plantains. They are hot, so let's use a tongue. And we're going to place it inside, and we're just going to squish it.
Oh my gosh, what is that cool tool? Bring it closer. Look how fun it is. Oh, that's so you're making a cup. Got it.
Yeah, so this is how I'm making my cups. I'm going to do another one, and then I'll show you up close.
Nice.
So the thicker you cut the plantains, the bigger the cups will be. But for now, this is what my cups are looking like. It's actually really hot, so give me a second. I don't want to like pick it up with my finger.
Like a lemon lime squeezer, but it has that capability of putting the hole in there. That's so fascinating. Or that.
Yes.
Nice.
So definitely super useful. So we're using this, and they're going to come out looking like little cups. And so now we're just going to fry them again to get them nice and crispy. And then we will season them with salt, some garlic powder, just to give them some flavor. And then we're going to stuff them. So I'm going to throw these back face down in the oil so they can fry.
Wow, this is a first time on Lunch Break Live. We have been having these shows for 365 days of the year, never a repeat of a recipe. There's always something different thrown in there. And this is our first time making these. Tell me how you say it in Spanish.
So yeah, they're called Tostone Rellenos. So basically just stuffed plantains.
That's rellenos means
Stuffed.
stuffed. Got it. Okay, like chili rellenos. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Yeah. So you can make like papas rellenos, which is like potato stuffed with different different things. People put beans, some people put mock meats as well. So my cups are baby cups this time, but that's totally fine. Like I said, if you cut the plantains thicker, they will become bigger cups. So there's that. I'm gonna put that on the side. I think those are the only ones I'm gonna make just for the sake of the cooking demo. And right now, I'm going to dump all of my shredded oyster mushrooms into the sesame oil. And you hear the sizzle. And I'm going to take a spoon and mix it up. So you really just want to make sure that all of the mushrooms are getting soaked up by the sesame oil. And they're going to go through stages when you're cooking them. So in the beginning, I know a lot of people are like, ooh, mushrooms are slimy. In the beginning, they're going to look a little bit slimy, and that's okay. So just give them some time. I have my stove on a high heat at this point. So just making sure that they all get soaked up with the sesame oil, and we're going to let them sit and do their thing. So the process, I want to say it takes maybe like 8 to 10 minutes to fully cook them. Super easy. So right now they're just kind of sweating in the sesame oil. And while that's happening, I can make the toppings for the Tostone Rellenos. So I'm going to chop up a tomato, a jalapeno, and also a red onion. Basically, you're making a pico de gallo to put on top. A lot of people sometimes put they'll put like mayo, like a vegan mayo, so veganized, and ketchup on top as well. And that's actually really delicious as well. So, yeah.
That sounds tasty. So Tom's asking, do you put breading on the oyster mushrooms? Do you ever do that? Or on these, you just threw them in, right?
Right. So these I just threw in. If I'm making like a vegan chicken sandwich, I like to take the oyster mushrooms and bread them in, flour or panko, breadcrumbs, just to get them nice and crispy, and then I'll fry them or air fry them. So yeah, there's so many things you can do with mushrooms. Mushrooms are just so versatile, and there's so many different types of mushrooms too, So
yes. Okay. Wow. So welcome everybody to Lunch Break Live. Those that are just joining or have been here for a minute. We got Tom in the kitchen with us today, Tina and Betty Ann Cornwall. Yes, I'm taking attendance. Those of you that are the regulars, we love that you come in here on a regular basis. And anyone else who wants to chime in and ask questions, please be sure to do that. We are so grateful that you come on a consistent basis and watch our show. So again, we're going to get this recipe and thousands of others printable. We also have Lena and Annie watching with us today. Thank you for sharing this out. This is such a great recipe. We got Kathy watching, Cynthia, as well as Lisa Marie, Jennifer, and so many more. All right, we get back to you. She is cutting it up. Let's go.
Yes, so I am cutting up a tomato just because I'm going to make a pico de gallo to go on top of it. I always like to put something like a little wet on top of my mushrooms just because they have a lot of flavor, but they tend to be pretty dry, just like, any type of meat alternative typically would be. So I'm going to be chopping up some tomatoes, jalapeno, some cilantro, and red onion to top, and it's easy as that. You don't really have to add much to it. So this is what I am doing. I know you can also put like hot sauce on it at the end. It's totally up to you. I like to keep it basic though. I'm super, super basic in the kitchen.
I love it. And Celia's here watching as well. She's an incredible chef. Okay, question is, do you ever use an air fryer? And have you ever put your mushrooms in there?
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure. I definitely have cooked mushrooms in the air fryer before. Not these because I like how the oil makes them super, super crispy, and then I'm able to add like soy sauce. But you can definitely use the air fryer. like I said, if you don't want to use oil, you can use like a vegetable broth or a mushroom seasonings or like a mushroom broth to cook your mushrooms as well. Definitely brings more flavor. So I'm gonna mix them around, see how they're doing. So they're nice and brown. Some of them are browning up. Let me see if I could grab one out for you. All right, I'm gonna use my tongs to grab one to show you the process of how they're beginning to look. So they're starting to brown up a little bit on the top. You see the bottom really has not yet, but the top is starting to brown, and that's what we want. We want the full mushrooms to be nice and brown, and then once they start crisping up, we're just gonna add some pepper and some soy sauce. And I'm telling you, those 3 ingredients, sesame oil, pepper, and soy sauce, that's all you need. Like, it is so good. So definitely want to try this recipe. I'm gonna take my plantains out because they're nice and golden. I'm gonna put these to the side. I'll make these after I get off the live. Okay.
So you heard it here. 3 simple ingredients is sesame oil, pepper, and soy sauce, y'all. That's pretty simple. It is all about the seasoning, don't you think? Oh my goodness, yes. And oh yes, Celia, thank you for saying that. She says, hi Paige, hi Destiny. Thank you for sharing this yummy recipe. No harm, no cruelty to animals. Love it. Vegan, yes. Woohoo.
Always, always, always. Okay, so I'm gonna get a nice clean plate to put these on. And so these are what my cups are looking like. Nice and golden. I'm gonna just put them on a plate. And then once the mushrooms are done, we're gonna stuff them and put some of the pico de gallo on top. So I'm gonna put this to the side.
You know, these are like fancy casual because they
they're very cute, you know, appetizers. If you're having like, I don't know, a Super Bowl party or something, a get together, these are super cute to, you know, serve on a platter. And people think they're like very, like it took you forever in the kitchen to make them, when in actuality it doesn't.
Okay, which pepper is this? It's looking hot already.
Yes, this is a jalapeno. I'm sensitive to spice on some days, but I think today I'm going to just keep the seeds in and just chop it up very, very tiny, just to give it more flavor, because we aren't using any spice aside from the pepper. So feel free to, you know, not use jalapeno if you don't like the spice. You can also use like a regular bell pepper as well.
But if we take the seeds out, it's less spicy. Is that right? That's what I've heard.
Yes. Yeah. So you can take the seeds out. So I left some seeds on the side because I think it'll be way too hot if I leave them all. But I did leave, you know, a couple in there to just bring that kick. And then the last thing is just the red onion, which is just a staple in our house. We love red onion. The best. It brings so much flavor to your dishes. And I'm just going to use a little bit. My mushrooms are sounding really good.
So where did you find your inspiration to cook? I mean, you definitely have skills with that knife as well.
Oh, thank you. Many years of practice. You know, honestly, I didn't cook before going vegan. Like I barely, I cooked to feed myself, and it was very basic. But when I went vegan, you know, there's so many different types of fruits and vegetables out there that I just didn't even know existed. So I really just started experimenting in the kitchen, using different ingredients. Like before going vegan, I thought there was one type of mushroom, when in actuality, there are like thousands of mushrooms. So, you know, just Google, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. Those are like my best friends, especially like Instagram Reels, where people make very quick and easy recipes. I just, you know, if they're not vegan, I veganize them. And if they are vegan, even better. I could just, you know, try them at home. So
I know
the internet.
a lot of people are cooking on TikTok. It's a lot of fun too. Those videos are fun to see what you put out on there. I love watching your lives on Instagram. It's fun. Like if I just go in there and there's Destiny making something delicious. It's fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I truly do love cooking now. Definitely going vegan has has helped me in the kitchen because I just have to feed myself more, you know? Whereas before it was easier for me to go out and eat anywhere. Now it's a little bit different because not everywhere has vegan options. So, all right, now that they're nice and brown, I'm gonna just add some soy sauce. You're gonna hear them scream a little bit. And we're just gonna mix them in. I can't wait to show you all this. It looks so good. And they just transform so quickly too. All right, so now that the soy sauce is in there, I'm gonna add some black pepper to give it some flavor, maybe like half a teaspoon. And then we're just gonna mix it up. And so the goal with this is just to let the soy sauce kind of evaporate so that all the mushrooms can absorb all of that flavor. You do not want to add any salt in here just because soy sauce, at least the soy sauce that I have, is very salty. Unless you use like a salt, a low sodium, soy sauce. But yeah, and then the last ingredient that we will need is just the lime. And I already just have some lime juice in here. So that'll just go on top when everything is ready to be plated. So yeah, we're pretty much like at the finish line. I think we're like 95, 98% there. Very easy recipe.
Woohoo! If you're just joining us, we are on Lunch Break Live, and you're going to get this recipe and thousands of others on janeunchained.com. Head over to the World Wide Web at the website. Tom Vincil would like to know, do you use Bragg's Aminos, the amino acids by Bragg's? Do you use them?
I haven't, just because the soy sauce near me is the cheapest option. So that's what I've used, but I've seen a lot of really good recipes with using amino acids. I should definitely give it a try one day. I've also tried tamari as well, which I think is soy-free, if I'm not mistaken. For people who have sensitivities to soy, I think tamari is a good one too.
Yes, yeah. Tina just wants everyone to know, please, if you're out there, share. Go vegan, save the animals and the planet. Yes, you're going to eat green food, plants made from, food made from plants to help the planet as well. So thank you, all of you that are out there. Thank you for sharing this. Tom says they also have coconut flavored Brags. I didn't know that. That sounds yes. Betty cool. Ann, I guess, is somebody who heads over there into Pinterest and Google plus YouTube. Very cool, Betty Ann. This is also on YouTube, just FYI, live over on YouTube. So yeah, I'm so excited to see how you stuff up these plantain cups, y'all. So if you're just joining us, always go back and watch this, and this will be on the website as well in the story by tomorrow. So just FYI, get yourself ready.
This is what they're looking like. I just wanted to show you. Nice and brown and crispy. So I'm going to leave it in for maybe like a minute or two just to give it, a little bit more time. But yes, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to show up before.
Well, this is all about you. So yeah. Well, what else would you like folks to know if they're in the transition? We have a lot of pre-vegans out there that are coming onto these shows, watching, and there's a lot more people who are aware of what's happening with our planet by eating animals. So go ahead and, if you will, what are your thoughts when in the transition? What would you give 3 steps to, transitioning? Go for it.
Yeah, I definitely think just do not overthink it. I think a lot of people, when they hear vegan, they're like, oh my God, salads every day or like some special recipe. And it really is not even that serious. Like everything that I used to eat, I still eat. I just use different ingredients. So I used to love spaghetti and meat sauce. And now I just make it with like a vegan alternative. You can use walnuts. You can use beans. You can use mushrooms. So just, starting out slow, also forgiving yourself if, you have a slip up. Like I think a lot of times in the vegan community, we could be very hard on ourselves. But, the more people that try to go vegan, like I'm just glad that people are trying, because eventually it will stick and then we will have more vegans in the world. So, if you're going to do like a 30-day challenge, do not beat yourself up if you mess up one day. Just start over the next day and it's fine, And then I guess the last piece of advice is to have somebody in your corner. You know, it's really important to have somebody who is supporting you. I know a lot of times friends and family sometimes can be very discouraging, or like they make fun of you when you're at like outings eating mushrooms as opposed to like a burger. But just, you know, try to have a friend or even like a virtual friend. I can be your virtual friend. So hold you accountable and like support you in your transition. I think that's really important, because without support, it can feel very lonely and hard, you know? So yeah, if anybody ever needs somebody to talk to or advice on, you know, different ingredients to use, my DMs on Instagram are always open, and I'm totally down to help people with the transition. So I think perfect timing because we are going to stuff our plantains. So I'm gonna just put some of the meats inside, well, some of the mushrooms rather, inside of the plantains, and then we're going to top them with some of the pico de gallo. This looks so good. I'm so hungry, y'all. And you know, this is a nice appetizer, but it can also be a main dish. You know, you can serve this with a salad on the side. You can eat some rice and beans on the side of this. The options are endless. So, all right, just putting the mushrooms.
And you know, I really love what you said about it, finding a community, a person, connecting with people on your journey to you know, vegan world, the plant-based, out the plant. So that's really great, amazing. Take Destiny up. She answers her DMs, her direct message.
Definitely, yeah. I'm here to support everybody. I know, you know, when I first went vegan, I only really had virtual friends to help me out. Like I didn't know any real vegans in person. So it was a little bit difficult for me. So I know the struggle, and I know, you know, that having someone to help you out is important. So I'm definitely here for you all. All right. So I'm just topping it with some tomatoes. I'm going to add some red onions. Again, these are kind of small. Usually I make them and they're like super like tall cups, but this is totally fine. Kind of like an hors d'oeuvre. So if anybody is getting married soon, this is a nice appetizer to have at your wedding.
It's great for the holidays too, because as we entertain or we want to go out, bringing these with us or having them out, those look amazing. And they look just so, like I said, casual, fancy. Look at this.
Yeah. Right. Like if I had a nicer plate, I feel like this would look like a $15 appetizer at a restaurant.
Absolutely. Look at this, everybody. I just want to thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. And thank you so much for providing this gorgeous recipe. We'll catch you next time. We'll definitely have Destiny back. Eat Your Destiny. Head on over. Please support her monthly, if you will, over at Ko-Fi. And head on over to her Instagram right now and catch this recipe on janeunchained.com tomorrow. See you soon, everybody. Thank